Hello everyone, Ceri Griffiths here, or some of you know me as Ceri the Crafter. Okay, I need to address something that keeps coming up in my comments, and it's my fault, and I've confused some of you. And I know what the problem is. The problem is, as content creators, artists, crafters, anyone of any creative nature comes on, as we ourselves progress, we develop a lingo or we abbreviate things. And sometimes we use those abbreviations in our videos, assuming, and you should never assume, assuming that everyone knows what you're talking about. And I've fallen foul to this and I went, okay, but I've answered this enough times in the comments. I think I need to make a video about this one. And the question is, what is a glue book? What is a glue book? And it's a bit long-winded to answer it, but it'll become more apparent when I actually show you what it is. And I think it's more of those who are maybe new to crafting or new to junk journaling or collage, new on their artistic journey. And it's a very valid question. I mean, how many times do we abbreviate things or assume? And one should never assume. So I'm going to address the what is a glue book question. Now, my answers will be my definitions of not... They're not the one and only definition. They're the definition that I understand the best their uses for. Although what I will say is one of the contexts for a glue book is more of, let's see, how do I put this, like a collage book, more like what here in the UK I would call a scrapbook, where an American scrapbook is a very different thing. Or an inspirational book. But what I will say is I follow someone on YouTube called Nicole from Relax Cut Glue. And Nicole, if you're watching this, I'm not going to do that high note again because I don't want to embarrass myself too many times. So I'm going to put a link to Nicole's channel down in the description box. Please go over, watch a selection of Nicole's glue book videos, because Nicole comes at it from very different directions for each of her individual inspirational glue books. I enjoy her personality, I enjoy her candor, I enjoy her creativity, and I think by watching a few of her videos, you are more than likely to understand a lot better what the definition of a glue book may be as to what I'm doing here. So I think without further ado, that's that big word again, isn't it? Without further ado, I'm going to flip this camera over and I'm going to show you what I perceive as a glue book versus a glue book. And I wasn't going to do a flip through of my own glue books till probably the end of the year, but you know what? I'm probably not going to finish them by the end of the year anyway. So I'm going to flip through where I'm at currently in the hope that that will also bring some clarity. So give me 2 seconds because I need to put the transition in here, and then we'll take a look at my own glue books and another thing I also call a glue book. It's going to be so much easier to show you. See you in 2 seconds, guys. So here we are at the overhead. Now let's dive straight in and answer some of the questions. Okay, I think the confusion comes about when talking about a glue book, as it depends which context you're talking about it within. So if I'm talking about collage work, as in doing collage work, or I'm doing ephemera, or I'm working in a junk journal, I would use something called, let's see if I can pick it up, a glue book. Now these are just old books or pieces of paper or things that I use to actually lay something on, and then I use my glue stick and I glue that piece, and then I'll take that piece and stick it somewhere else. Some people call these glue pages. We very rarely just call them a glue book, unless you're reaching for, oh, let's grab my glue book. And that's what these are. These are just pages that we're using to actually glue stuff before we pick that piece up and glue it onto a piece of ephemera or a page or something. So this, I think, is the root of the confusion. These are glue pages. I sometimes call them a glue book. Right, that's dealt with that version of the description. So let's look at what I perceive as my journey towards glue booking versus the other tangents of sticking things down onto other things. So I'm hedging my bets a lot here trying to make this clarify. So I started out using my old planners. Now, these are the planner inserts, and I keep every single one of them because I do refer back to them. But as you'll see, I go through and I use the space within them that is spare space to glue things down, things that have caught my eye, things that I might use a nice colour scheme for, or just I was finding things when, oh, I don't want to lose that image, I just want to keep it, like just stuff, and I glue stuff down. So this effectively is my planner, but I spent money on the paper, so I'm actually going to use the spare areas as a kind of glue book. Basically, I'm sticking stuff down to it. Sometimes if I'm looking for inspiration, because I keep every one of these, I will flick through or thumb through one of these and go, ooh, that's a really nice colour combination. And I will take inspiration from that section and go, you know, that's a really good colour. I love those two colours together. I wouldn't have put them with that, but that actually does work and they look well with neutrals. Or maybe I was looking through here and go, oh, I haven't done anything with mushrooms for a while. Let's work on something with mushrooms. So do you see what I mean? That was my sort of entry level, and at the time I thought I was just sticking stuff down. I didn't realise I was doing glue booking, and in my mind this is a version of a glue book. Now, I'm saying version because I don't think there are any set rules for things like glue books or journals. I think the definition is whatever you make and however you want to refer to it. However, we like to pigeonhole things. We like to try to have some core understanding by referring to things as like names. So this for me is my planner. This is potentially a glue book for me because I've glued stuff into it either for inspiration or just images that I wanted to hang on to. So that's the first one. Now to this very day, I still do this. My planners have always got these in. It's usually about 4 or 5 of these in my Midori holder or my travel journal things. Everything gets put into them and I use them all the time. Then I sort of, while still doing that, I then, 1 year, I want to say it's about 2 years ago, 2 years, maybe 3 years ago, I took the Marguerite Miller weekly collage challenge. And this was a collage a week, actually based on prompts that were put in by Marguerite Miller. So you were given 5 prompts, well actually you're given 6, and you were allowed to swap one out for the bonus prompt, or you could do all of them. I think I did all of them. But as you can see, this is a collage book as part of the collage challenge. Now, if you want to see a definite flip through of this, actually, yes, I do have a video. I'll put a link to the video below in the description box of this as well, just so you can actually see what I made of this challenge. And I loved doing this challenge. So anyway, however, although this is a collage book based on collage prompts, this is pretty much a glue book because everything in it is glued down. So it depends on your terminology as to how you refer to things. So this was the next step in my collage journey, glue book journey, however you wish to view it. Then I went one further and I discovered Nicole. And Nicole was doing something that was called a colour glue book. So what happens is she took a composition notebook. This is one of them. I covered my cover with some of my artwork. I also covered the inside cover with some of my artwork. And then I put a piece of washi or a piece of coloured paper down 4 of each pages to make it into sections, so that when I'm collaging, I try to stay within that group of colours or use images that have got predominantly that colour in it. And I'm going to flip through this now, just in the hope that it gives you more of an understanding as to what a colour glue book is. Now, there are lots of different sorts of glue books. This is just one that really intrigued me, and I will do another one of these in the future from the lessons I've learned from doing this one. I've really enjoyed this one. It was really good. To find images and harvest them from maybe craft, maybe magazines, books, wherever, just to find stuff to fill this in. So we're going to do a quick flip through. It's not going to be an in-depth. And remember, guys, this is a long way from finished, okay? It's probably going to take me at least another year to complete this. But there are certain colours in here that are already filling up. So when I go to the States, because I'm going to the States again this year, I'm going to buy more composition notebooks. And I'm going to start my next colour glue book, so that the colours are already filled up here. I can start in the next one. So I put in turquoise, or teal, some would call it. So as you can see, the majority of things on here have got that colour as a theme. But not predominant, not majorly, but as you can see, most things on these pages are like-minded or within the same family. They are just images that catch my eye or please my eye. It's not meant to make sense. It's just meant to be something I like to look at. Now, some glue pages have a theme. This whole book has a theme, which is colours. Sometimes you can have a glue book that has just a theme for that page or group of pages. It can be anything you like. So as you can see, I literally, that was my teal turquoise colours. Then I went into pinks. Again, pinks was just, for me, difficult because I'm not a lover of the colour pink, so I'm not drawn to pulling images that are coloured pink. But as you can see, some of these, this still needs quite a lot of work on here. That one needs some words on it. Then I went into black and white. Now, some people do a black and white glue book that's purely black and white. Some people do a black and white glue book that actually have pops of colour in as well. So that's another option. So as you can see, I've been building up the black and white one. I liked the black and white pages. So already it's becoming quite interesting. I'm finding stuff. And like, here's an example. I had a piece down here and then I found this piece, which I liked better than that piece. I just built layers on top of layers, guys. So until I end up with something that pleases me. Like this page, I would say is probably finished. So we're going into the blue pages now. So this one I'm still struggling with. Don't know why. It's just, I started off good and that doesn't seem to be working for me anyway. Something I did learn about doing this sort of thing is, I think with my next glue book, once I've got the side pieces down the pages, I'm probably going to put in a complete background that's predominantly the colour, because what I did in this one is I made up backgrounds out of pieces. And I didn't like the result because then I spent more time trying to cover up the joins and anything. So I think if I get a complete image that's of a blue theme, I'll just put that on there if it's predominantly blue. And I think at the back of this blue, I've actually got one that's just like that. So as you can see, just having all the same colour. Okay, this is what I mean. So this background is predominantly blue, although it could easily sit within the yellow section as well. But in the future, I'm going to do a background that's completely, even if it's just craft paper or something like that, or even wallpaper or packaging paper, that designates the area to glue onto. So now we're going into the orange section. As you can see, I use everything from packaging to magazines, whatever. It doesn't need to make sense. It just needs to make pleasing to my eye, should I say. And am I worried, like things here, I've got a bit of wrinkling going on here. Do I care? No. It's fun. I like looking at these things. If I've got nothing to do and I'm trying to find inspiration for something, I will flick through one of these books. Now it seems like, okay, this girl's head doesn't belong on that body. So I fussy cut her head out, stuck it on this body because the guy that was wearing this jacket wasn't going into this book, I can assure you. This isn't a completed page, but you know what? It could be a completed page because it depends on when I decide it's finished. So I'm going into red. So obviously red. I like red a lot. I already had a lot of red images. So I found red quite easy to do. And I would say my red section's pretty much almost finished. I mean, this needs a little something. I think I need some other stuff on here. But I'm getting there with red. Contrary to that, however, purple, I have struggled really hard with purple. And I don't know that it's because I'm not overly drawn to that colour, or whether it's because the magazines I was given, or the freebies I picked up, or any magazine I happened to have as a gift, or even bought a magazine, there wasn't a lot of purple in it. I've struggled with purple. As you can see here, I said I made my background out of little pieces of purple as I found them. For me personally, that's a mistake. I need to start with a purple page and then stick stuff to it so I can then play around with the layouts and give the eye somewhere to rest, because all I'm doing currently is trying to cover up joins on stuff. So again, this is just, I don't know, I'm not feeling the purple section. So I'm trying, but it's just not working. Green, on the other hand, I love the colour green. So guess what? Green has come along really, really well. And it's one of the things that's almost finished as far as I'm concerned. This probably needs something here, probably something there, and maybe something there. And then that page is also finished. This is not two, that's one. This is another one that's almost finished. I mean, things like these joins here, I need to put something here. I need to see something, but that's just the way my brain is wired, guys. But as you can see, just images, images, images where the predominance is the colour green. Another one is yellow. I've struggled with yellow. Finding yellow images has been a bit of a challenge. I've got quite a bit done, but as you can see, I'm beginning, this is where things are tailing off, where I just haven't found enough images, or images that please me anyway. So anyway, that's my coloured glue book, as it is at the moment. And once it's completely and utterly, totally finished, which is probably going to be at least a year's time, I will share it with you. But I got the ideas from this from Nicole at Relax Cut Glue, and really enjoying this, because having just a glue book where I stuck things down at this point in my life didn't work for me. And having seen this as a coloured glue book, which gave me a purpose, was a light bulb moment in my glue booking. So I still do my planner, I still stick images in, I still do collage. I've got a separate collage book, but basically this collage is effectively glue booking. You're gluing images down. This is more specifically random images that are within a colour theme that I've glued down. And then what some of you may have seen a little while ago in a previous video is I started another glue book. And this one I called a random glue book. And I called it a random glue book because Nicole had one which she started called the Big Old Random Glue Book. I think hers was number 2, which is the version I saw. And what she did, she took a spiral bound book, because the spiral allows the pages to expand without putting stress on the spine. And then Nicole went in and put just random images that caught her eye that she wasn't using in any of the other glue books. I did something different with mine, and I discovered something about myself as I did it. I had bigger images that was never going to fit into any of these categories unless I started cutting them down considerably. However, I love the images, and this for me has become more of an inspirational image book. It was commented by one of my subscribers when I first shared me doing this process. They said, well, that's not very random, you're planning it. And it was at that moment I realised I couldn't do random. However, grouping things together would, like these are all chairs or things you sit on. And in doing that, that just gave me interesting pages. Now, not all of these are finished. I again went with the black and white because I like the black and white. And again, I found black and white stuff to put on here. Not finished. There's still more to do. This one, the theme was stripes on this page. So I wouldn't have used these anywhere else. But you know what? I really love these colours. I wouldn't have put those 3 colours together. I mean, I really wouldn't have put yellow lilac, yellow lavender and sort of a turquoisey green together. Really liked it. And it's funny because it's repeated there, and that's a completely separate image. Granted, the lavender isn't in there, but I could quite easily have slotted it in. But I was finding things that are striped. Now, these pages have created backgrounds for me, which means I could then put other striped things in there if I find it and if I feel like it. I didn't realise I had 5 pictures of leopards. I've actually got a few little pictures as well, which would be an upper layer. So this again is going to become maybe pages about animal prints or just leopards. If I find leopards, I don't have to complete it now. I don't have to complete it in a year. But now I have a place, if I come across images of this big cat, I can put them on these pages instead of them sitting in my fussy cutting box forever. This one, I like hot air balloons. One of my bucket list things is to do a hot air balloon ride one day. But I like this, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to do. Have I got bubbles in some of these pages? Yes, I've tried my best not to have bubbles. I don't care. It's not an exhibition piece. So for me, this is going to become all about hot air balloons. This one was more about Africa, and I didn't realise I had all these images already of African wildlife. I'd never have put those into one of my glue books. Maybe this one gets small enough. And I found this eat more meat, which I thought was really appropriate to the lion, because he's certainly not a vegetarian, is that lion. So I thought, okay, so again, there's more going in here. Now I might find some African prints, fabric prints and stuff to put them in. I might put something tribal in here. I might put a piece of a map in here, who knows. This started with me looking at things that were green, because I found this image and really loved it, and then noticed that this colour green actually occurred in other things. So therefore this page was building up. Again, not finished, doesn't have to be. I'll finish it when I'm ready. To me, that's what I'm determining for myself as random, because I can work at random points on random pages when I come across images that suit. This one was a page about beds. So I came across these beds. Wouldn't that be lovely as a bedroom? Came across these images of beds, went, therefore I'm going to make a bedspread. No pun intended out there. It's a spread about beds, not bed spreads. I found these words concrete jumble instead of concrete jungle, and I had this cityscape, so I split the image. Then I found this, and that's quite a famous image of something. I don't know where it is, but I love that spiral staircase, obviously made of concrete and stone. So this will all be about concrete constructions. This one, I found this image here. I went, oh, look, it's still life, but it's a sewn still life. So I thought, right, this will be about things that give me the impression of an artist's still life fruit bowls. You've seen them all over the place in museums. So I thought, I like that, and I like the wording, pretty as a picture, so that went in there. This one, I think, is pretty much finished. This was all about elegance and opulence in interiors. I'm not sure there's much more to go on here. I mean, I could put something in there, or I could put something there, but I really like looking at this page. Every time I look at this, I see something new. I find this an intriguing page. I was very happy I did this, and I think as I gather more of this sort of images, I'll probably repeat one of these pages further on. Okay, another spread that is actually in construction. I like clouds, I like the sky, I love this. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to eventually have enough pieces to fill this up completely, and then what I put into the sky will be whatever I put into the sky. Maybe I'll put an airship, maybe I'll put an aeroplane, maybe I'll put butterflies, maybe I'll put, birds of prey, maybe I'll put a kite. Now, I don't know what this will become, but I do like it. It's a nice thing to look at, this page. Okay, I obviously had vacations on my mind. I'm not a huge beach lover. Well, I'm certainly not a sandy beach lover. But I had lots of these travel type images, and I thought, you know, in the middle of winter, looking at that's going to make me smile and look forward to the summer. This one, I just like the green. So I thought, okay, let's make this about green landscapes, or landscapes with green within them. So this eventually will be all green. But I loved all the different colour greens that nature offered us. This one was about toilets and showers. Don't ask me. I found these images of a bathroom in an interiors magazine somewhere. And I found this in another magazine, and I was like, you know what? It tickles me. I mean, that's just, I don't know whether I'd go to the bathroom in that bathroom. I thought someone's watching me. So, but I loved that, and I thought I was just totally eclectic. What else goes in here? I don't know. There may actually be an octopus at some point. There may be a deep sea diver I stood in the shower. I don't know until that image introduces itself. Wanted a page on food. I don't know. I found these images and thought, let's put them all together in a food related spread. Obviously not finished yet. Don't know what else is going there. Haven't come across an image yet that's inspired me to add it to this, but another page. This one was all about archaeology and ancient and discovery, and it just, I don't know, this intrigued me, and I had these images already, and they were just sat at the bottom of my fussy cutting box. I went, they need a home, and now anything that comes up that fits within this category can now go onto these pages, and I'm sure I'm going to have more than this, so maybe another pages in the future. This one was all about colours. I put this in the borders of Bohemia purely because, for me, that's what this felt like. And I liked playing with colour. I love colour. And, I mean, Vivienne Westwood, Carnival, celebrations. It's just everything about this was joyous. So maybe if I'm having a depressed or a down day, looking at this page is going to really cheer me up, and I like that. It's fun. It's not finished yet. I feel there's more to go on here, but it did please me. This one, I think this one might be finished. I'm unsure about this. This was one I did about 3 days ago, to be honest. I already had some of these in here, these gardening ones, because I had a gardening magazine that I cut up. And then I started finding the wording, and then I found this guy in a fashion magazine. And I went, well, he'd look really peculiar if he stood amongst these. Why would he be there? And I thought, you know, maybe he's one of the fairy folk. Maybe he's a magical being that is the guardian of the garden. For me, I tend to create stories. I need to have reasons why things are there sometimes, which is probably why random doesn't really work for me. But to me, this kind of works as a complete image. I do think I will find other things that will go in here. Maybe it will be butterflies, because I think if I played off those wings and put butterflies in, I don't know, maybe more wording will come in. And I just liked this to me is almost finished, if not finished. This one was my Scottish pages, and it was only Scottish because I had this image, and then I found I had this craft paper as a background, found this in an image which nearly went into my coloured glue book under the orange section, although to be honest it was too big and I didn't have the space for it. And then I found this image of the Scottish Highlands, I think, well it is to me anyway, with orange in it. I thought that felt, so this is going to have more stuff added as I go along. This one, Egypt. When I was a kid, I absolutely loved Egyptology. Anything to do with Egypt, I was there in a heartbeat. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this page as things come to me. Based on Egypt, they will go into here. So that's going to be deserts and Egyptian and pyramids and stuff. And I like that. This one, are you going to say, Ceri, there's only one image? That's all it took. I found this image and this immediately said to me, Dracula. So I think everything on here is going to be about vampires and bats and Dracula and stuff like that. So this will evolve over time, and it's all starting with this one image. Now, I'm absolutely certain this isn't in Transylvania. I wouldn't like to tell you where it is because I don't know. It's not a dark and dingy image. It's a beautiful image, but to me it immediately said Dracula's castle. So that's going to be what this theme is for this whole spread. This one. Now, I probably mixed up religions and ethnic backgrounds and everything in here, but I like the whole colour of Nepal, Taiwan, Buddhism, different religions, all different ethnic backgrounds, and I really loved this feel. And I went, you know what, as things come across my path that fit on these pages, I now have a home for them. I did an Easter spread at Easter. I thought, why not? I had lots of this stuff in free magazines I started cutting out. Now, I haven't finished it because Easter's gone now. But you know what? Next Easter will come around and I'll probably find pieces fit in here. And there needs to be other things on here. But I thought it's a good start with celebrating Easter on these pages. This one, right. This image here, which I absolutely love of these irises, sparked these whole 2 pages. I went through my images and pulled anything that was reminiscent of that colour and lighting feel of that image and pulled them in. No matter what they were, they came in. And I love how this looks. I am very, very, very tempted. I need to trim the end of that. I'm very, very tempted to leave this as it is because I can look at that and it looks beautiful. I mean, I did put this words here, something catastrophic. And it was as if I want to put something in here that is maybe broken or something that's fallen over or maybe a shattered jar or something. I don't know, but I love this and I love looking at it. And that's as far as I've got, guys. I've got a whole load of other pages to do. But so when I'm talking about a glue book in the terms I mean glue book, it's something where I'm sticking things down. So that is whether it's my planner, whether it's a collage book, whether it's my colour glue book, all of them to me are glue books. I think where I have misled you is I refer to these as my glue books which are basically gluing books or glue pages, things where I would take something, glue it on here. It's just to keep my desk or my workspace without glue. So that was a bit of a longer video than I thought it was going to be, but hopefully that's cleared that up, guys. And for the new people out there, sorry, I should think more before I assume everyone knows what I'm talking about. But hopefully that's clarified it for everybody. As I said, go over to Nicole, have a look at what she creates as glue books. Love her work, love what she does. Go over, subscribe if you're interested in glue booking. She's a clever lady with a good eye for a glue book. And I will keep doing what I'm doing. Nicole will keep doing what she's doing. And you keep doing what you're doing. And we all find our own way forward and our own style. And we're all inspired by everybody. And I love that about this community. It's fabulous. So from me, I am Ceri the Crafter. Until next time. So that's Ceri the Crafter. Bye-bye now.